What night for the San Francisco 49ers. Faithful. This team just proved again why heart, discipline, and coaching matter more than anything else. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, and still, the Niners came out swinging and took control of this game from start to finish. Let's just take a moment to appreciate what this defense did. Against an Atlanta Falcons team that came in hot after dominating the Buffalo Bills, the Niners held them to only 10 points. 10 points. That's what we call setting the tone. Bryce Huff was an absolute monster tonight. 2 official sacks, constant pressure, and one of the biggest plays of the game when he ripped through the line, got to Michael Penix and forced a fumble. You could just feel the energy shift right there. Every time he lined up, it felt like something big was about to happen. That's the type of effort you need when your defensive leaders are out. And how about Tatum Bethune? First NFL start, filling in for Fred Warner, and he played like a seasoned pro. You can tell he's a coach's son. He sees the field differently. He's not the fastest guy, but he's smart, disciplined, and always where he needs to be. The kid just understands football. He blitzed, he covered, he tackled. Everything Robert Saleh asked him to do, he executed. And when you've got that kind of IQ out there, it makes a massive difference. This defense, man, they just play with heart. Holding Bijan Robinson, one of the most explosive running backs in the league, to 40 yards on 14 carries is no small feat. That's pure effort, gap discipline, and trust in each other. You could see it in every snap. The defense swarmed to the ball, played with aggression, and kept Atlanta uncomfortable the entire night. On the offensive side, the story was all about balance. The 49ers finally got the ground game rolling again. For weeks, everyone's been asking, what's wrong with the Niners' run game? Is it Christian McCaffrey? Is it the offensive line? Well, tonight we got our answer. It was the line, and they finally showed up. Christian McCaffrey was back to being his old self, cutting, breaking tackles, and finding daylight. 24 carries for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those are the type of numbers that remind everyone why he's still one of the best in the game. The holes were there. The blocking was sharp. George Kittle's impact was huge, even though he didn't catch a single pass. His blocking on the edge helped spring McCaffrey on multiple runs. That's vintage Kittle, doing the dirty work that doesn't show up on the stat sheet but wins football games. And how about the offensive line as a whole? This was a group that had been criticized all season for getting bullied inside. But tonight they looked strong. They kept the pocket clean for Jones, who continues to impress filling in for Brock Purdy. Jones was poised, confident, and efficient. He didn't need to throw for 300 yards because the team finally had that offensive balance. 2 for 2 in the red zone, 9 of 15 on third down. That's efficiency. That's control. You could see the rhythm returning to Kyle Shanahan's offense. They weren't just reacting, they were dictating the game. And let's talk about that key moment in the fourth quarter. Falcons down 13-10, 4th and 1, deep in Niners territory. Atlanta could have tied it with a field goal, but they decided to go for it. And that's when Chase Lucas stepped up with a play that might define his young career. Perfect coverage on Drake London. Breaks up the pass, turnover on downs, and the momentum completely flips. That's awareness. That's instinct. That's preparation. After that, San Francisco took over and put together one of their most clutch drives of the year. 11 plays, 64 yards, and over 5 minutes off the clock. You could feel the confidence building with every snap. And the play that sealed it? 3rd and 13, Jones finds McCaffrey on a beautifully designed route that turned into a 17-yard gain. Next play, McCaffrey punches it in for the touchdown. That's how you close games. Kyle Shanahan deserves a ton of credit for this win. When you lose your 2 defensive captains, your emotional anchors, and still come out with that kind of intensity, that's coaching. This team was mentally and emotionally ready to play. Shanahan's game management, play calling, and preparation were on point. Robert Saleh's defensive adjustments were brilliant. They tightened up the run lanes, mixed in creative blitzes, and trusted their young guys to execute. That's how you build a culture. It's not just about stars. It's about belief. You could also feel that this was a character win. Every guy on the field was giving everything. It was an empty the gas tank kind of night. No excuses, no shortcuts, just pure football. When a team plays like that, When backups become playmakers and young guys rise up, it says everything about the locker room. The Niners aren't just surviving without their stars, they're thriving. And if this is the kind of performance they could deliver while shorthanded, imagine what happens when Bosa and Warner return. And look, Jones deserves his flowers too. For wins in 5 starts. He's not trying to be a hero. He's managing the offense, making smart reads, and trusting his teammates. You can see his confidence growing week by week. He's got command of the huddle and trust from his coach. That's invaluable, especially in a stretch like this. Even little things mattered tonight. Jake Brendel went down with a hamstring injury, and Matt Hennessy stepped in at center without missing a beat. That's depth, that's preparation, and that's another example of coaching paying off. Every man on this roster knows his role and stays ready. The defense as a whole looked fast, aggressive, and unified. Darrell Luter Jr. stepped in for Renardo Green and held his own in coverage. The pass rush, even without Bosa, was relentless. The Falcons' offensive line never looked comfortable. They tried screens, play actions, misdirections. Nothing worked. Every time Penix tried to settle into a rhythm, someone in red and gold was in his face. This game reminded everyone what makes the 49ers special. It's not just talent. It's the mindset. It's the commitment to playing physical, disciplined football no matter who's on the field. They controlled the tempo, won the battle up front, and completely dictated the game flow. Against a team full of offensive weapons, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the Niners allowed just 1 touchdown, and that came after a special teams mistake gave Atlanta a short field. When you think about the larger picture, this one means so much more than just improving the record. It reinforces belief. It tells the locker room, the fan base, and the rest of the league that the 49ers aren't going anywhere. They're built to fight through adversity. The NFC better be paying attention because even when this team is banged up, they still find ways to dominate. And that's the beauty of what Shanahan and Saleh have built. Every player understands the standard. Every backup knows he's expected to perform like a starter. The message is clear. If you're on this roster, you're capable of contributing. That's why this win feels so powerful. It wasn't about one superstar carrying the load. It was a collective effort, a complete team win, from the coaches to the practice squad. And the story doesn't stop with just the numbers. There's a deeper layer to what we saw tonight from the 49ers, a combination of discipline, preparation, and mental toughness that sets championship teams apart. When you're without your 2 biggest defensive stars, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, the natural assumption is that the opponent is going to find holes, exploit gaps, and dictate the pace of the game. But that assumption went out the window as soon as the first snap was taken. Bryce Huff, stepping up as the team's primary pass rusher, was everywhere. Pressure on the quarterback, collapsing the pocket, breaking through the offensive line. He didn't just make plays, he changed the momentum of the game. One of the most significant moments came when he forced a fumble on Michael Penix, a play that sent the stadium into a frenzy. Moments like these define seasons, and Huff has quickly become a cornerstone piece for this defense, even without Bosa leading the charge. Then there's Tatum Bethune, drafted in the 7th round, a player whom many might overlook. Yet tonight he showed exactly why football intelligence and instincts matter just as much as raw athletic ability. First NFL start, and he looked like he belonged in the league for years. Reading plays, diagnosing runs, timing blitzes perfectly, and even making a few key tackles in the backfield. You could see the influence of his father, a coach, in every decision he made on the field. It's rare to see a young player step into a role with such pressure and perform at that level, especially in the heart of the defense. And when you add the rest of the defensive unit, it's clear that Saleh has cultivated a culture of accountability. Every man knew his responsibility, executed his assignment, and trusted the person next to him to do the same. Offensively, the story was just as compelling. Christian McCaffrey returned to his elite form, but this wasn't magic. This was execution. The offensive line finally held up, creating running lanes and protecting the quarterback. McCaffrey ran with authority, cutting through defenders, gaining tough yards, and finishing drives in the end zone. 24 carries for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns is a statement. This was a performance that reminded everyone why McCaffrey is still one of the league's best and why the offensive line, when firing on all cylinders, can transform the entire attack. George Kittle's blocking contributions were essential, showing once again that he's willing to sacrifice personal stats for team success. His presence in the run game shifted defensive schemes and opened holes that McCaffrey exploited to perfection. Kyle Shanahan's influence on this game cannot be overstated. The preparation, the play calling, the adjustments, it all came together flawlessly. With a backup quarterback, Jones, leading the offense, Shanahan didn't simplify or limit the game plan. He trusted his personnel, built a balanced offense, and executed a strategy that kept the Falcons on their heels. Jones was efficient, poised, and confident. His connection with McCaffrey, Kittle, and the receiving core allowed the Niners to maintain control and move the chains consistently. 2 for 2 in the red zone and 9 of 15 on third down may not sound flashy, but that's precision, timing, and control. That's a team operating with purpose. And then you have the moments that truly define games. The fourth quarter stand on 4th and 1, Atlanta's chance to tie or take the lead, and Chase Lucas comes up with a perfectly timed play to break up the pass. Momentum swings instantly. That's not luck. That's preparation, anticipation, and execution under pressure. From there, the Niners drive 64 yards over 11 plays, chewing up the clock and converting in clutch situations. 3rd and 13, Jones finds McCaffrey in stride for a huge gain, followed by a 4-yard touchdown that puts the game away. That drive, that sequence, is a microcosm of this team's mindset, calculated aggression, discipline, and a refusal to allow opportunities for the opponent. Depth was also a theme tonight. When Jake Brendel went down with a hamstring injury, Matt Hennessy stepped in at center without missing a beat. Darrell Luter Jr. filled in coverage seamlessly. Curtis Robinson provided additional support in the middle linebacker role. This is the kind of depth and preparedness that keeps teams consistent and resilient through the long grind of the season. Every player understood his role, trusted the game plan, and executed it to perfection. That's the hallmark of a team built for success. Even the defensive line, which has struggled in Bosa's absence in past games, came together and dominated. Pressure, discipline, and timing made life difficult for Michael Penix all night. There were no gaping holes, no blown assignments. Just controlled aggression, every gap filled, and relentless pursuit of the football. The Falcons' weapons, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, were contained. One touchdown, a direct result of a special teams miscue, was the only blemish. And when you look at the totality of the performance, it's impossible not to be impressed by the level of cohesion and execution on both sides of the ball. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The San Francisco 49ers are reportedly shaking the NFL to its core with a move that could redefine the league's offensive landscape. Sources suggest that the 49ers have closed a deal to acquire superstar wide receiver Justin Jefferson, the Vikings sensation known for his jaw-dropping speed and highlight reel catches. If true, this would instantly make the 49ers offense one of the fastest, most electrifying units the league has ever seen. Imagine this. Trey Lance or Brock Purdy throwing deep to Jefferson, whose ability to blow past defenders is virtually unmatched. Pair him with Deebo Samuel's dual-threat explosiveness and Brandon Ayuk's quick-twitch agility, and suddenly defenses are chasing ghosts on every snap. The mere thought of this trio running routes is enough to give opposing coordinators nightmares. Analysts are already speculating that the 49ers' offensive line, known for its creativity in both run blocking and pass protection, could transform Jefferson into an even more unstoppable weapon. Fans have taken to social media, buzzing with excitement and disbelief. Could the 49ers be building not just a top-tier offense, but an entirely new standard for speed and versatility in the NFL? The rumors suggest the team sees Jefferson as the missing piece to finally capitalize on Kyle Shanahan's aggressive, scheme-heavy play calling, combining his own elite passing attack with a receiver who can outrun any coverage. Imagine the deep shots, jet sweeps, and trick plays this roster could unleash. If this deal goes through, the league may never see anything quite like it. Of course, nothing is official yet, but whispers from the Bay Area and Minnesota insiders hint that the discussions were serious and highly advanced. The implications for the NFC West are massive. The Seahawks and Rams may suddenly find themselves playing catch-up in a division that could become a sprinting showcase, rather than a traditional, grinded-out battle. One thing's for sure. If Jefferson lands in San Francisco, expect the 49ers to rewrite the playbook on speed, explosiveness, and offensive innovation. The rumor mill is on fire, and the NFL world is watching, wondering if this could be the off-season shocker that changes the course of franchise and maybe the entire league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.